Myself, Dipali. Chapter 4, Carbon and its Compounds. In this session, we are going to understand about two important substances, that is ethanol and ethanoic acid. These two substances are very much important from industrial and commercial point of view. We are going to understand the physical and chemical properties. Many carbon compounds are invaluable to us, but here we shall study the properties of two commercially important compounds, ethanol, that is CH3CH2OH, and ethanoic acid, which has the formula CH3CH2COOH. Properties of ethanol. Ethanol is liquid at room temperature and its melting and boiling point are given in the table 4.1. Its melting point is 156 degrees and boiling point is 351 degrees. Ethanol is commonly called as alcohol and active ingredient of alcoholic drinks as well. In addition, because it is a good solvent, it is also used in medicines like tincture iodine, cough syrups and many tonics. Ethanol is soluble in water in all proportion. Consumption of small quantity of dilute ethanol causes drunkenness. Even though this practice is condemned, it is socially widespread practice. However, intake of even small quantity of pure ethanol, that is absolute ethanol or alcohol, can be lethal. Also, long-term consumption of alcohol leads to many health problems. Now let us see the chemical reactions of ethanol. Ethanol reacts with sodium Na to give us sodium ethoxide plus H2 gas is liberated. Now take a few drops of sodium about the size of a couple of grains of rice and add it into ethanol, that is absolute alcohol. What do you observe? We will see hydrogen gas is liberated and you can test it by the pop sound. Alcohol reacts with sodium metal to evaluation of hydrogen. With ethanol, the other product is sodium ethoxide. Can you recall which other substance would hydrogen on reacting with metal? We have already studied that in chapter 1. Now reaction to give unsaturated hydrocarbons, heating ethanol at 440 degree Kelvin with excess concentrated sulfuric acid results in dehydration of ethanol to give ethene. So alcohol with concentrated H2SO4 gives ethene. The concentrated sulfuric acid can be regarded as a dehydrating agent which removes water from the ethanol. How do alcohol affect living beings? When large quantity of ethanol are consumed, it tends to slow metabolic processes and to depress the central nervous system. This results in lack of coordination, mental confusion, drowsiness, lowering of normal inhibitions, and finally stupor. The individual may feel relaxed without realizing that his sense of judgment, sense of timing, and muscular coordination has been seriously impaired. Unlike ethanol, intake of methanol in very small quantity can cause death. So, methanol is fatal than ethanol. Methanol is oxidized to methanol in the liver and methanol reacts rapidly with the components of the cell. This is how the mechanism works and it can cause death. It coagulates the protoplasm in much the same way as egg is coagulated by cooking. Methanol also affects the optic nerve, causing blindness. Ethanol is an important industrial solvent. To prevent the misuse of ethanol produced for industrial use, it made unfit for drinking by adding poisonous substances like methanol to it. Dyes are also added to color the alcohol blue so that it can be identified easily. This is called denatured alcohol. So these are the basic importance of and uses of alcohol. Can we use alcohol as fuel? Yes. Sugarcane plant can one of the most efficient converter of sunlight into chemical energy. Sugarcane juice can be used to prepare molasses, which is fermented to give alcohol or ethanol. Some countries now use alcohol as an additive in petrol since it is clearer fuel which gives rise to only carbon dioxide and water on burning insufficient oxygen. So this is how ethanol is a very important product of industrial use, where it is used in so many drinks, beverages and in many medicines. Now let us see the next component, ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid is commonly known as acetic acid and belongs to a group of acid called carboxyl because it has got C double bond OH group present. The carboxylic, the 5 to 8% solution of acetic acid is water, is vinegar, which we use in pickles as many preservatives, and we also use in preparing many recipes. The melting point of pure ethanoic acid is 239 Kelvin and its boiling point is 391 degrees. And hence it often freezes during the winter cold climate, and so it is also known as glacial acetic acid. The group of organic compounds called carboxylic group are obvious characters with acidic nature. So all acidic characters can be observed here. However, unlike mineral acids like HCl, which are completely ionized, carboxylic acids are weak acids. So you can see how it happens. Compare the pH of dilute acetic acid and dilute hydrochloric acid using both the litmus paper and universal indicator. You will see that pH of acetic acid is much lower than the hydrochloric acid, which proves that acetic acid is a weaker acid than the hydrochloric acid. Does the universal indicator show that they are equally strong? No. And you take 1 ml of ethanol, absolute alcohol, and 1 ml of glacial acetic acid along with a few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid in a test tube. Warm it in a water bath for a few minutes. What you observe is pour into a beaker containing 20 to 50 ml of water and smell resulting mixture. You will find a sweet smelling substance is produced. The experiment or the activity which we did is esterification process, which is one of the property of alcohol and ethanoic acid. So these are the basic properties of ethanoic acid, and now when you say reaction of ethanoic acid, first is esterification. Esters are most commonly formed by reaction of acids and alcohols. They are sweet smelling substances generally used in perfumes. Ethanoic acid reacts with absolute alcohol in the presence of acid catalyst to give ester. There is a misprint here, you have to make this as O. So it is CH3COOH plus CH3OH acid gives CH3OCOO, because ester group is represented by C double bond O this way, and here also R, or COOR. This is how you represent the ester group. Generally, esters are sweet smelling substances. They are used in making perfumes and in flavoring agents. On treating with sodium hydroxide, which is an alkali, the ester is converted back to alcohol and sodium salts of carboxylic acid. This reaction is called saponification, which is the reverse reaction of esterification and is used in preparation of soap. Soaps are sodium and potassium salts of long chain carboxylic acids. This is how ester works. And this is the reaction for saponification, where CH3COO C2H5 NaOH reacts to give C2H5OH plus CH3COO Na, that is ethanol plus sodium ethoxide. What happens when ethanoic acid reacts with a base? Like mineral acid, ethanoic acid reacts with a base such as sodium hydroxide to give us salt, sodium ethoxide, or commonly called sodium acetate in water. NaOH plus CH3COOH gives CH3COONA plus H2O. How does ethanoic acid react with carbonates and hydrogen carbonates? Let us perform an activity. Take a spatula full of sodium carbonate in a test tube and add 20 ml of dilute ethanoic acid. What do you observe? Pass the gas produced through the freshly prepared lime water. What do you observe? Can the gas produced by the reaction between ethanoic acid and sodium carbonate be identified by this test? Repeat this activity with sodium hydrogen carbonate instead of sodium carbonate. Reaction with carbonates and hydrogen carbonates. Ethanoic acid reacts with carbonates and hydrogen carbonates to give rise to a salt, carbon dioxide and water. The salt produced is commonly called as sodium acetate. Now do you observe that CH3COH plus Na2CO3 gives sodium ethoxide plus water plus carbon dioxide. Same way ethanoic acid plus sodium hydrogen carbonate also gives the same, which is used in preparation of soap further. So these are the three properties of ethanoic acid: reaction with alcohol, that gives us esters, reverse of esterification is saponification, and then it reacts with a base NaOH to give sodium acetate, and when it reacts with sodium hydroxide, hydrogen carbonate and sodium carbonate, then it gives something similar. So what do you observe? Now soap and detergents. What are soap and what are detergents? Soap and detergents form a micelle like this. Now you can understand this one part is the soap molecule. In this soap molecule has two basic parts. One is hydrophilic and the hydrophobic part. Hydrophilic means one which loves water and hydrophobic means one which hates water. Now this hydrophilic end will always be attracted towards water, H2O, and hydrophobic end will always try to go away from water. So it will cling to the oil or dust particle which is shown here. And when many atoms of soap join to the oil molecule or the oil atom, it forms a structure like this which is called as soap micelle. Take about 10 ml of water each in 2 test tubes. Add a drop of cooking oil to both the test tubes and label them as A and B. To test tube B, add a few drops of soap solution. Now shake both the test tubes vigorously for the same period of time. Can you see the oil and water layers separately? In both the test tubes immediately after you stop shaking them. Leave the test tube undisturbed for some time and observe. Does the oil layer separate out? In which test tube does this happen first? So when you will observe, you will see that the effect of soap in cleaning. Most dirt is oily in nature, and as you know, oil does not dissolve in water. The molecule of soap as sodium or potassium salts of long chain carboxylic acids. The ionic end of the soap interacts with water while the carbon chain interacts with oil. The soap molecule thus formed is called as micelle, which we already saw in the figure, where one end of the molecule is towards the oil droplet while the ionic end faces outside. This forms an emulsion in the water. and the soap micelle thus helps in pulling out the dirt in water and we can wash our clothes clean. Can you draw the structure of micelle that would be formed if you dissolve soap in hydrocarbons? Yes. Now soap are molecules in which two ends have differing properties. One is hydrophilic, as I told you, the water loving that interacts with water, while hydrophobic, one who hates water, interacts with hydrocarbons. When soap is at the surface of water, the hydrophobic tail of the soap will not be soluble in water and the soap will align around the surface of water with the ionic end in water, and the hydrocarbon tail protrudes out of water inside the water. These molecules have a unique orientation that keeps the hydrocarbon portion out of the water, which we see as the foams of the soap. Thus, clusters of molecules in which the hydrophobic tails are in the interior of the cluster and ionic end at the surface. This formation is called as the micelle. Soap is formed by the micelle is able to clean since the oily dirt will be collected in the center of the micelle, and the micelle stays in solution as a colloid and will not come together to precipitate because of ion-ion repulsion. Thus, the dirt suspends in the micelle is also easily rinsed away. The soap micelles are large enough to scatter light and hence soap solution appears cloudy. So this is how the mechanism of soap works. Now, if you try to observe a detergent, it is something similar. Take about 10 ml of distilled water and 10 ml of hard water and in separate test tubes add a couple of drops of soap solution to both. Shake the tube vigorously for an equal period of time and observe the amount of foam formed. In which test tube do you get more foam? In which test tube do you observe a white curdy precipitate? You will see in the soap you will find foam, and in the detergent you will find only a white precipitates. In hard water is not available in your locality. Prepare some hard water by dissolving hydrogen carbonates, sulfate, chloride or calcium or magnesium. So in hard water there will be white precipitates and in distilled water there will be foam. So take 2 test tubes and 10 ml of hard water in each, add 5 drops of soap solution to 1 and 5 ml of detergent solution and shake well. You will see that both the test tubes have same amount of foam. Why? Because detergent can react easily with hard water while soap cannot. So soap is good to use in distilled water and detergent is good to use in hard water. So you have ever observed while bathing the foam is formed with difficulty and is insoluble substance scum remains after washing with water. This is caused by reaction of soap with the calcium and magnesium salt which causes the hardness of water. Hence, you need to use a larger amount of soap. This problem is overcome by using another class of compounds called detergent as cleansing agent which are something similar to soap. So detergents are generally sodium salts of sulfonic acids or ammonium salts with chloride, bromide, ions, etc. Now, both have long hydrocarbon chain. The charged end of the compounds do not form insoluble precipitates with calcium and magnesium ions in hard water, and thus they remain effective in hard water. And detergents are usually used to make shampoos and products for cleaning clothes because they do not give any effect with the hard water and keep the cleaning okay. So detergents are good for cleansing and soap are good for bathing and skin purpose. This is what you understand the application of various hydrocarbons in preparation of soap and detergents. With this we complete this chapter. You can complete the activity and the exercise given at the end of the chapter. Thank you.